So iPhone season is definitely almost upon us. It came really quickly. It felt like the iPhone 11 just came out actually. But there's some new leaked information for the iPhone 12 Pro that's pretty interesting. And one thing is very apparent from the information is if you like cameras, you're going to be very happy. If you're expecting Apple to kind of break the mold on the way it designs its iPhones, probably not as much. Now, if you're somebody that's in the market for an iPhone this year, you're probably waiting for the iPhone 12 to come out to see if it's something that you want to upgrade to, or if you're going to go with one of the older models of iPhones themselves. So let's check out these leaks and see if the iPhone 12 is leaning in the right direction for you. Also, we did a video, which is basically an iPhone matchmaking video by answering just a few questions. We can kind of tell you which iPhone is best for you. I'm going to go ahead and link that video up in a card above and also in the description of this video. Go ahead and check that video out after you finished watching this one, of course. Let's get started with the leaked information for the iPhone 12 Pro. So for this video, I figured what I would do is break the leaked information down into 3 categories. So we're going to cover the design or the build, camera, and any new features that they're expecting the new iPhone to have. So let's get started with the build of the new iPhone 12. What the tipsters are saying is that probably going to see basically the same kind of build. Apple really hasn't differentiated its build for the iPhone since they released the iPhone 10. And last year they introduced the new 3 camera system with that wide, ultra wide, and telephoto lens stove-like design on the back of the iPhone 11. You're probably going to see that same stove design. What the tipsters are really saying that's going to be different with the new iPhone 12 Pro is you're probably going to see a boxier iPhone. So now iPhones are kind of have those rounded edges. They're kind of symmetrically rounded to the sides. You're going to see more of a squared off iPhone, something similar to what you're seeing with the iPad Pros nowadays. And Apple's kind of going into that boxier, more symmetrical kind of design, kind of arcing back to the iPhones of old and bringing it in with this new full screen display, still without the home button, so you're not getting any kind of Touch ID back. I don't think they're going to make it into this particular year's iPhone, but I know Apple's definitely working on integrating that into the screen itself. I personally can't wait for that. They're also saying that Apple's working on shrinking the notch a little bit. Now, the notch itself, I've never really been a fan of, but I fully understand why it's there because they have so much camera technology in the front-facing camera to do that Face ID camera that Apple needs for security purposes and also for authentication purposes on your iPhone. So I definitely understand why the notch is there. I've just never been a big fan of the notch, and I heard that Apple's really trying to shrink that notch down just a little bit. And if you looked at iPhones since the iPhone X, where the notch was first shown, the notch has kind of gotten a little bit smaller as we've gone through the progressions of the iPhones themselves. Maybe not with the XR, the 11, but with the Pro versions of the iPhone, you've seen the notch kind of shrink up just a little bit. And I think as camera technology gets a little bit better, Apple's working to shrink that notch just a little bit more. And tipsters are saying that you're not going to get a full screen iPhone this year, but Apple's definitely working on putting those cameras either behind the screen or in the bezel of the new iPhones coming up in later years. So not on the iPhone 12, but definitely maybe on the iPhone 13 or 14, you're going to start seeing that notch go away completely. I just don't think a design like you see on the Samsung with that punch hole is going to really work on Apple, because Apple, again, has so much camera technology in their iPhones themselves. It's just too much. You're probably going to have like 3 or 4 hole punches in your screen, and that really doesn't look as good as the one single hole punch. I just don't think they can fit everything in that one single hole punch. So you're going to still see a notch on the 12, but it's probably going to be a little bit smaller. And they're also saying that you're probably going to see a redesigned stainless steel frame going around a new iPhone, which kind of fits if you think about the boxier design. You think about the older iPhones and you think about how that stainless steel frame will kind of integrate into the way that the new iPhone looks. I think that's going to be pretty cool. iPhones have never really looked bad. They've always been very well designed themselves. Some people, again, either hate or love the notch, but from the information that I'm seeing in these leaks, I don't think you're going to see too much of a departure from the way the current iPhone looks to the new iPhone 12. Just some really interesting tweaks to make it stand out a little bit differently from the iPhones that are currently available. Now, let's talk camera. Arguably one of the most important things on a smartphone nowadays. Smartphones are pretty much the same across the board. So what's the differentiating factor for smartphones nowadays is camera. And there's a lot of camera enthusiasts out there. There's a lot of people who buy smartphones because it has the best camera, and Apple over the years has arguably been one of the best cameras on smartphones. I admit it. I've used many smartphones. Apple's cameras always seem to be really good. So you know now with the advent of phones like the Samsung Galaxy S20 that has that ultimate 3-camera system, you know, where they have the 180 megapixel wide angle camera, 48 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide, time of flight that shoots 8K videos, and that 100x zoom. You know, Apple's gonna have to do something pretty cool with their cameras just to not keep up with Samsung, because if anything, I think they're ahead of Samsung, but just to show people that they are advancing in camera technology. So what the tipsters are saying is that the new iPhone 12 Pro is going to have a 64 megapixel camera setup in the back and improved zoom technology. Probably not a 100x zoom, because it really needs a 100x zoom. It's cool to have, but I don't think Apple's going in that direction. You're going to have an improved zoom on the camera, but they're not going to adopt that periscope type lens option. I think they're going to more skew towards something like what Google's doing, to use software to kind of enhance the zoom quality of the camera itself and kind of crop image down using software and rendering information from the phone and what you're seeing through your lens to kind of give you that zoom factor on your pictures, rather than using the actual hardware in the phone itself to accommodate the zoom, something similar to what like Samsung's doing. And they're also saying that Apple's considering or planning on extending the night mode option to the telephoto lens of the camera itself, which would be pretty cool, because now you're going to have the night mode option when you're taking telephoto pictures. So that's going to come in handy and generate some really cool pictures from the iPhone 12 Pro. And around the front of the phone, it looks like they're going to be improving the front-facing camera, which was already pretty cool because this year they had like the slow motion videos incorporated, but it looks like they're going to be adding support for ultra wide pictures in the front-facing camera and also a selfie sensor. So they're going to be making adjustments to the cameras overall on the phone itself. And also Apple seems to be reported to planning to increase the aperture on the ultra wide camera by about 35%. So you're going to be looking at around a f1.6 aperture on the phone. So it's going to allow the sensor to really just bring in significantly more light and make those pictures a little bit more crisper, a little bit cleaner. Again, Apple cameras have always been pretty good at taking really cool photos, and I think the improvements of the iPhone 12 Pro's camera is just going to put it at the top of the game. And they're also saying that you're going to see an improved version of the Smart HDR that was introduced with the new iPhone, renamed XHDR, I guess Extra HDR. If you're a person that doesn't know what Smart HDR is, so Smart HDR is basically a marriage between the iPhone's image single processor, and that's basically the thing that takes the info from the camera sensor and turns into an image that you actually see on the screen itself. That coupled with its software-based natural engine, you're going to see a lot more crisper and cleaner pictures across the board with the iPhone 12 Pro. You're going to be able to take pictures in low lights. You're going to be able to take pictures when it's overexposed or you get a lot of light. It's just going to be adjusting based on what you're seeing on your sensor, what information is being entered through the sensor. Software is going to kind of analyze that and kind of render it down to a better picture overall for you. I think Apple's really kind of leaning into the fact that what's going to differentiate them from the competition is their camera. They really want it to be a pro type camera, and I think the iPhone 12 Pro is going to have just that. And feature-wise, this phone, feature-wise, is probably going to be all in the cameras that you're seeing. So the back camera and the front camera are where the features are going to lie, where the differentiating factors are going to be between the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro. But they are saying that the iPhone 12 Pro is probably going to be 5G capable, and because of that 5G capability, you're probably going to see a larger battery as well, because 5G does drain your battery a lot faster than 4G does, so they have to accommodate for that battery drain by increasing the battery size. Phone battery sizes get increased from generation to generation anyway, so that's not a big surprise. 5G is not really a huge thing anyway as well. I don't know if they're saying that they're going to have a 5G standalone phone, or if all Pro versions of the iPhone are just going to be 5G capable to kind of future-proof them in case you buy it and next 2-3 years you don't replace your phone, and within the next 2 or 3 years 5G is supposed to become a bigger integration into cellular network. So it looks like Apple's kind of forward thinking on the Pro version of their phones. 5G should be baked into the 12 Pro and 12 Pro Max. So to recap, it looks like we're getting a boxier iPhone, a more squared off design with some stainless steel probably thrown in, a more more improved front-facing camera and a more improved back-facing camera, some software tweaks to the camera to make your rendering of images a lot better and your videos a lot crisper and cleaner. And it looks like 5G is also going to be baked in somehow into the next lineup of iPhone Pros that are coming out. So the question remains, what feature are you looking forward to in the iPhone 12 Pro? What is that feature that's going to push your needle to purchasing this phone over waiting or over purchasing an older version of the phone? Comment down below. I'm very interested to see what you guys think of the information. While you're down there, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and that bell for notifications so you don't miss really some cool, helpful content like this one. Until then, guys, again, you can check out our iPhone matchmaking video. I'm going to link that video here. And this is something YouTube believes you'd enjoy watching. Thanks so much again for checking out the video, and until next time, peace.